Nandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, The Creation of Fourth Order, Chapter 22. Prithu Maharaj is meeting with the Kumaras, text number 34. Na kuryat kare chit sangam tamaste brahmtite risu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadatyanta bighatakam na kuryat kare chit sangam tamaste brahmtitirisu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadantyanta bighatakam na kuryat karichit sangam tamaste brahmtitirisu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadatyanta bighatakam
na kuryat karichit sangam
tamaste brahmtitirisu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadatyanta bighatakam na kuryat karichit sangam tamaste brahmtitirisu dharmartha mokshanam yadantyam
na kuryat karichit sangam
na kuryat karichit sangam tamaste brahmtitirisu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadantyanta bighatakam na kuryat karichit sangam tamaste brahmtitirisu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadantyanta bighatakam na do not kuryat act karhichit at any time sangam association tamaha ignorance tibram with great speed titirisu person who desire to cross over nescience dharma religion artha economic development kama sense gratification mokshanam of salvation yet that which atyanta very much bighatakam obstruction or stumbling block. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Those who strongly desire to cross the ocean of nescience must not associate with the modes of ignorance, for hedonistic activities are the greatest obstructions to realization of religious principles, economic development, regulated sense gratification, and at last, liberation. Please repeat. Those who strongly desire to cross the ocean of nescience must not associate with the mode of ignorance. For hedonistic activities are the greatest obstructions to realization of religious principles, economic development, regulated sense gratification, and at last liberation. Purport. The four principles of life allow one to live according to religious principles, to earn money according to one's position in society, to allow the senses to enjoy the sense objects according to the regulations, and to progress along the path of liberation from this material attachment. As long as the body is there, it is not possible to become completely free from all the material interests. It is not, however, recommended that one act only for sense gratification and earn money for that purpose only, sacrificing all religious principles. At the present moment, human civilization does not care for religious principles. It is, however, greatly interested in economic development without religious principles. For instance, in a slaughterhouse, the butchers suddenly get money easily, but such business is not based on religious principles. Similarly, there are many nightclubs for sense gratification and brothels for sex. Sex, of course, is allowed in married life, but prostitution is prohibited because all our activities are ultimately aimed at liberation, at freedom from the clutches of material existence. Similarly, although the government may license liquor shops, this does not mean that liquor shops should be opened unrestrictedly and illicit liquor smuggled. Licensing is meant for restricting. No one has to take a license for sugar, wheat, or milk because there is no need to restrict these things. In other words, it is advised that one not act in a way that will obstruct the regular process of advancement in spiritual life and liberation. The Vedic process of sense gratification is therefore planned in such a way that one can economically develop and enjoy sense gratification and yet ultimately attain liberation. Vedic civilization offers us all knowledge in the Shastras, and if we live a regulated life under the liberation of Shastras and Guru, all our material desires will be fulfilled. At the same time, we will be able to go forward to liberation. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-Salakaya Chakshur-Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistham Sthapitam Ena Bhutali Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalan Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakham Vitam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari. Vancha kalpatarubhyaksha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaisnavebhyo namo Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvises Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Na kuryat karichet sangam tamastibram titirisu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadatyanta vighatakam. It is very unfortunate to see the living being not have that devotion to the Supreme Lord. Very unfortunate. And even after the tireless effort of pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees who are effortlessly trying to convince living being that you are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and your sublime duty is to perform pure devotional service. Constantly preaching, but still living entities, the soul, conditioned soul especially, does not want to listen to that message of pure devotees and from Shastras. That is the most unfortunate thing that happens in this material world. Actually, devotion is very common to devotees and non-devotees. All the living beings are simply doing devotional service. And at the same time, devotees who are devoted their life and surrender unto the lotus feet, they are also performing devotional service. One devotional service aim is different from another. But ultimately, bhakti is the principle. Service, seva, is the main aim, goal, principle of every single activities liberated soul or conditioned soul perform. It's called Rashtra Bhakti, Desh Bhakti. Desh Bhakti, Rashtra Bhakti means the devotion for your country, devotion for your nation, devotion, Parivar Bhakti, devotion for your family. So many bhaktis are being performed in this material world by many people, but anything that is not aimed to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead will ultimately cause you frustration. That is the difference between the devotion that is done in this material world and the devotion is done to the Supreme Personality of God. And the very interesting thing is that when we perform devotional service other than the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, and even though we are being kicked by many times, many lifetimes by the illusory energy of the Lord, but we still think that we are doing a great job. That is the biggest interesting thing in this material world. So we are still not awakened. We are not still wake up from our sleeping state. Sometimes we do realize that this is very difficult path. It is very difficult to satisfy all the people. And how long I continue like this? People do realize these things, but again, they continue the same thing because they have not complete faith in the Supreme Lord. This is where the role of a spiritual master or devotees or a messenger or a preacher comes to cut the knot of their heart into pieces so that we can separate them from this unlimited entanglement in this material world. So you can imagine the position of a spiritual master. Just imagine in your mind. So when some devotees at least visits temple or come to the temple or take the process or take it over seriously or dedicate himself or surrender completely, that pleases Krishna the most in the entire activities. And when somebody go away from Krishna consciousness or leave the movement or the practice, that also gives the most unbearable pain to Krishna, because he thought, wow, after many, many lifetimes, finally this particular soul is coming to me. But again, unfortunately, he is going away. Now, Krishna is very much painful, in great pain. Madhvacharya has said that in this ecosystem, in all the living entities except human being, they are actually assisting the purpose of the Lord in this creation to maintain the good environment, good atmosphere, so that human being can peacefully take this devotional service or this process of Krishna consciousness. An end, even though it is a very, very fallen birth, unfortunate birth, so this is how it is said, this material world is completely perfect. Every single living being is playing a role to maintain at least good environment in this material world, so that we can perform devotional service. That is the arrangement of the Lord. Even though this is like a prison house, we are fallen into this material world. We are trying to struggle so hard to maintain the material life, and we are aspiring and we are dreaming to enjoy senses so much. But still the Lord is arranging some better environment for us to advance in spiritual life. But out of all that effort, we are turning away from Krishna. That's why sometimes Acharya says that Krishna failed to convince the living being that you are my soul and part and parcel. Because of our tiny free will, we are trying to explore this material happiness, enjoyment in this world, being away from the Lord for many, many lifetimes, and making plan one after another, and then missing every opportunity to grab Krishna consciousness. And even if we have it, we take it sometimes as for granted, and we do not really advance in spiritual life. We remain always same, practicing like 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, 5 years, position is the same. So we should take it very seriously. The Krishna, this varnashram dharma, following the regulative principles, this is for like actually for common people who do not have any interest or any knowledge about spiritual life. Just to make you at least up to the level that you do not grossly associate with the tamaguna. Here is the same thing. Never associate with tamo, that's a mode of ignorance. The all world is in the mode of ignorance. And as soon as we come to contact with them, then their influence is very strong, very heavy. And sometimes that can influence us. And we can be step away from the mode of goodness. It's very difficult to go up. To go down is very easy. To fall down or to drag ourselves down to the ignorance is so easy. You don't have to do nothing. Just be lazy and crazy, and then you become automatically tamas, like in the mode of ignorance. But to come up to the passion, to the goodness, is we need to do extra effort. We need to pay the extra price. That price is to regulate our life on the basis of religious injunctions, scriptural injunctions. But once you are situated in that position, then what else you do? You need to do devotional service. You need to go up. Once you are completely situated in the in the foundation of devotional service. And when you have a very loving feeling for the Lord in your heart, then you do not care any other Vedic injunctions. That is what Narad Muni is teaching here in Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who receive the mercy from the Lord, and those who have the loving feeling in their heart for the Lord, for them, any Vedic principles, any rules, all this varnas and everything is like inferior. That is why we do not pay much attention in all kind of ritualistic activities in Krishna consciousness. We only do as per instructed by our Vaishnava Acharyas. Here it says, Yada Yasyan Grihati. Yada means when. Like Yada Yada hi dharmasya, right? The word Yada in Sanskrit means what? When. Yasya means to whom? If it is for Kirtaneswar. If he Anugrinati, he receives the anugrah means mercy, compassion, the blessing from the Lord. And what happened then? Bhagavan Atma Bhavita. When he carries that love in his heart for the Lord, Supreme Lord. Atma Bhavita means having the feeling for the Lord. Or he become Krishna conscious. Or he only thinks about Krishna in his mind. Only remembers about Krishna in his mind. Or only talks about Krishna whenever he meets with people, talk with people. Atma Bhavita means we are always engaged in discussing the Krishna Katha. That means Atma Bhavita means. Or having loving a feeling for the Lord. Sajahati matim loke. He immediately give up all this desire to this loke means to this material world. Mati means your interest, mind. You do not put any interest in that. Not only to this material world, Vedas, to the Vedas also. Like Veda means what? All these different injunctions in Vedas, they are simply trying to promote your life up to the heavenly planets. If you do pious activities, if you do charity, if you worship King Indra, if you fire Agni, all you will be blessed with heavenly pleasure, heavenly long life, become Gandharva or demigods or king, like that. But devotees, they give up that ideas. That still bind you in this material world. You are still in this world and you are not free yet. You are not liberated yet. Vedacha parinishtitam, they are fixed in the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the benefit. That is the result of devotional service. So Ramanuja, Vaishnava, they do not really like Srimad Bhagavatam because of this Narada Muni teaching here. He says that devotees will give up this Vedic injunctions. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu focused all the time. Naham Vipra Nachanarapati Napi Vaishyo na Sudru. I am not a sannyasi, I am not a grihastha, I am not a vanaprastha, I am not a brahmachari, I am not a brahmana, I am not kshatriya, I am not vaishya, I am not shudra. My only identity is I am the servant of 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 the Lord. That is the extreme expression of your devotion. When we see in the beginning, when Shankaracharya was preaching the idea about Sunyabad, Mayabad and Advaitavad, this devotional service or bhakti was defined as performing big yajna, charity, reading Vedantas with all these rules and regulation. Before recitation, you have to follow Viniyoga system, purification of your body in a subtle, in a gross way. So many rules and regulations studying Vedanta. Only Brahman would be able to study. Not any other class in the society would get chance to study Vedas. So it was limited within that class of the society who were really educated, smart, and the word smarta is coming from the word smart is coming from smarta, a Sanskrit word. So they would keep the knowledge within their grip and then limit it only within the Brahminical qualified people. Then later on, when Ramanujacharya came, he brought the idea about Saranagati. What is the meaning of Saranagati? Process of surrendering to the Lord. And he started preaching that one who has unflinching faith and devotion to the Lord, anyone can practice this bhakti of this Saranagati, this surrendering process. Everyone can take part in surrendering himself into the Supreme Lord and perform bhakti. He separated bhakti and Saranagati in two different ways because the follower of Shankaracharya would not accept bhakti as Saranagati because they would keep it within their learned circle. So as soon as Ramanujacharya introduced this Saranagati, and then a lot of people took into the Vaishnavism. That is why even today in India, Ramanujacharya, Sri Vaishnava influence is very high. A lot of people are taking this. Later on, Madhvacharya came and he preached this bhakti. They are only limited within some mott, but Ramanuja, they are spreading everywhere. And later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he combined the bhakti and Saranagati. They are same. He did not make it two separate entities. They were together. Without devotion, you cannot surrender. Without surrendering, you cannot have devotion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu make it one and then introduced and preached this bhakti cult all over the India. That influenced big Mayavadas in Varanasi, great scholars, Vedantists. They were all influenced and impressed by the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they were devotees. So by performing devotional service, it will untie the knot in our heart and destroy the doubt that we have. Vidyate hridaya granthir chindante sarva samsaya. Unless we are untied from all these knots that have been formed in our heart for many lifetimes in the name of relationship in this material world, attachment, this relationship, family, this and that, society, nation, everything. Yeah, this devotional service cannot unfold.
Trying to find the verse. I was on my phone looking for a verse, but I couldn't find it. And this verse might have been Victoria. So, O regulative principles, O paths, O illusions into the fire. I'm so sorry, I have no time for you right now.
That's the same idea, yes. Thank you. And then Chindante Sarva Samsaya, we have to cut down all the doubt. If you have doubt, then how can you do something for somebody? So our Acharya has expressed, or they focused to have a Sambandha Gyan very strong in our life. Sambandha Gyan means the relationship between the living being and the Supreme Lord. Not only that, relationship between Supreme Lord with the material world, with the Supreme Lord, with the other living beings, with everything that related to the Lord. So when we have that Sambandha Gyan very strong, then we can think about someone. But our mind is filled with so many garbage memory in our brain. We always talk about, our childhood memory, filled with all the garbage, and that also takes our memory in our brain. We are trying to find where did I put this? Oh my God, I have this thing, but I could not find it. So our memory is full with all this unnecessary thing. And then fill Krishna's pastime, filled with devotees association, filled with Dhamma Yatra. Fill our mind with studying, reading Prabhupada books. Fill our mind with visiting Ratha Yatras. Then it helps us to remember Krishna at all times. And when we do not remember Krishna after performing devotional service, it's a waste of time. Even after understanding so many instructions, still having material attachment. Attachment means what? Those memories that are stuck in our brain, in our head. Oh, when I was a child, I used to go play with my friends in the river, swim, fishing, did this. We always talk about that. I never talk about Krishna at any time. Out of the class, when we go outside and talk with the people, we are, oh wow, great, how are you doing? Great. How is your job? Everything is okay, very nice. That's all we talk. No place for Krishna. And how can we become Krishna conscious? There is no way. So this smarana means that is what smarana means. Remember all the time. You know, Gopal Krishna Maharaj who just passed away recently. There was a video going viral in the social media that he was sleeping, and then in his sleeping state he was doing arati with his hand. Because that is smaranam. Because even in his dream, he is remember Krishna and what he does. It's simple but very profound example. But in our life, we always talk something else other than Krishna. There's a devotee when he gives Bhagavatam class, he randomly asks some devotees, "Can you speak like 1 minute for Krishna's flute without cessation?" The devotees do not know what to speak. Can you talk about Krishna tending a little calf for 5 minutes? The devotees do not know what to speak. Because we do not cultivate, do not study, read these pastimes and feel that in our mind. We do have so much memories. Like Jamuna says, I was a child went to Nepal, my grandmother gave me this yogurt, butter. See how we remember those things, and immediately we become emotional. We have the feeling. So when we talk about Krishna, his pastimes, and his different qualities, and then feel that in our mind, then that comes out. Gigo principle, right? Garbage out, good in. So cleaning the memory is very important process in Krishna consciousness. That's the very important process, cleaning the memory cleaning. So that's why Bhagavatam Adi Madhya Asanesu. Adi means in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the middle of the Srimad Bhagavatam, or towards the end of the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the main topic? Vairagya Khyana Samyutam. It's just only about the detachment from this material world. Parikshit Maharaj, when we hear him, who was he? He was a great king. Easily detached, he gave up by simply one small Brahmana boy's curse, and immediately went and tried to look for realized soul to hear the Katha. Durga Maharaj, very great, seems like very materialistic person looking for greater kingdom from his father. But what happened? He gave up that idea like easily once he has darshan of the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj, the king, son of a great king, he had all opportunity to become the ruler of the world and to keep all the demigods under his control. But he was not at all interested in anything of that. Immediately detached. So 4 Kumaras, giving up the order of his father and going around and preaching the science. So only discussing from the beginning, in the middle, in the end. Vairagya Khyana Samyutam. after that, of this one Bhagavatam is to engage you in devotional service. That's all. There's no other purpose. And devotional service means pleasing the Lord. I was watching a Parikshit boy, little boy. You saw that there was that chain was on the floor, and before he grabbed the prasadam, he put that chain back to the place and he grabbed the prasadam. Do the first seva and then mars prasad. Maybe he's doing spontaneously, but that teaches us a big lesson. Big lesson. So this service is performed with feeling, with loving feeling. Sometime when I was living in the temple, like 5 years or more, I would do something, but that was like, oh yeah, again I have to do it today too, and oh yeah. When Mother Sandhamini goes somewhere else, and we feel like, oh wow, there is no one to instruct you today. Yes, you are very free. You can do whatever you want. That is the mood in the condition these days. When you become Raganuga, Ragatmika Bhakti, you just do it. When you see something, you just do not see, oh yeah, it's my service, somebody else's, so he does it. That doesn't happen in that stage. Naturally, spontaneously. So in order to get us out from this material conditioning, we alone cannot help rescue ourselves. You know, the land with what is the wet land which is very, very marsh? Swamp? Yeah. Swamp. When you go into the swamp area, when you the more you try to come out, the more you go down.
Quicksand.
Yes, quicksand, yes. So the Guru is the only person to rescue from that situation. Or Krishna's representative, devotees, are the only person to rescue a living soul who is really conditioned in this material world. We cannot alone, we alone cannot come out from these complexities. It's very difficult. Neither we get this science from studying Vedas. Vedesu adurlabam. Krishna says very rare in the Vedas. Even though I am the only glorified in the Vedas, but for you it is very hard to find me in Vedas. It's very complicated and crooked and just like so many things, like touching your nose like this. Devotional service like this. Simple. And after trying so hard by these great devotees, living being doesn't want to come back, doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to practice. That is most unfortunate. Again, I was telling in the beginning. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what happened to you when you take the process of devotional service? I will give you intelligence. Darami buddhi yogamtam. What is that buddhi means? We get buddhi from two, from Maya and from Krishna. When we get buddhi from Maya, we start thinking, I am fine, I am good, I am doing great, I am very nice. And Maya will always persuade you or teach you or convince you that you are fine, you are doing great, continue. That's what all the motivational speakers, you all can do it, you can do it. You can be the biggest successful person in the whole world. You can take your business up to the different level. Just do not give up your hope against hope. That's all motivational speakers are doing. Just putting you back into this material world. Not at all helping. And they are thinking that they are, wow, yes. And later on, the motivational speaker, they go to hospital for depression. In India, the biggest motivational guru, now admitted in hospital for depression. He influenced millions of people. Everybody admire him, read his book, but he himself, that is the result of having devotion in this material world. Because you do not have any source of inspiration. You are simply trying to forget the reality and then boost yourself on the foundation of false ideas. Is it not? But our scripture says, no, give up this effort, tireless effort. That's not the way. You can never satisfy yourself with that way. Come to Krishna, give up all those ideas. Krishna will take care of you. It will be very easy for you to cross over this material science. It's very complex. The Maya, Adakshana Prakriti, Suyati Sarasaram. Everything is under my control. And without my causeless mercy, you will never be able to cross over. It's simple. Come back to me and perform some bhakti to me a little bit. Even a very little. Neha vikarma nasosti pratyabaho na vidyate swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. Whatever we perform in the devotional service will never go in vain. And even tiny small thing we do, it will deliver us from greatest fear of death. So it is unlimited. We can discuss so much. And I think I would like to stop here and we discuss sometimes. Parasparam, we have to discuss. When we do not talk about Krishna, only here, one way, then the problem happens. So discussion is very important. Yes, Prabhu.
Where you mentioned this need we have to cleanse our memories. The Western devotees in here.
Pretty dark. So it's sometimes very difficult because the memory, we have so many sinful memories, memories of very sinful activities. And so they're never very hard to remove. And so we find that we're flying in Krishna consciousness, then we get attacked by some very sinful memory. And how do we cleanse?
Yeah, the best way to clean that memory is to fill with another new memories. New memory dancing, associating, studying, reading. That's how we feel. Replace the junk memories, get rid of them. So in a Western world, when people are, when I was a child, I was abused by my lifelong they're crying, they're doing soka. That's called the meaning definition of Sudra is one who always lament. That's the Sudra. Always, even if I'm dying, but I still think I was abused by my parents and my. Forget about it, man. It's already happened. That cannot go back to that. Always talking the same. So we should stop lamenting, complaining, lamenting. Same thing, lifetime, like every day, single day, and being excused. Yeah, that's why I am not active in devotion because I was abused. Yeah, everyone is abused. This whole world is the idea is the whole world is material world is abused. Who is not abused in this material world? When I was a child, I would ask my father, can you buy me copies? And he would say, no money, no copy. You study, read, memorize. Now can I say, oh, my father never bought a copy for me, so I could not go to a big college and my father cried. This is just a waste of time. A waste of time. Yes. Fill your mind with the new memory, Prabhu. That's a good idea.
The first word you said was dancing, which made me think like, movement for the body, just even not in the Krishna culture sense. It's, it's so, if you're having a problem in the mind, move the body. I was wondering, sometimes we see devotees and they may even be nice devotees and then they fall away from Krishna culture and then they get into something like demigod worship or Buddhism. Can you say anything on why this happens and how to try to encourage someone like that already knew about Krishna and then they're into demigods and
Yeah,
rituals?
this process did not take place. The Bindanti Hridaya Granthi, that knot was not untied, and their samsaya was not cleaned, doubt was not cleared, and they were right after material desires, and then going prapadyanti anya devata. Kama hridayastata jnana prapadyanti anya devata. That's when we go to another demigods, because our intelligence is stolen by the desires, and then that's happened. But if you do not have a strong association and your sadhana, and then this going down is very easy, I told already, right? Going down is very easy. You can easily slip from the path of devotional service. So that become careful. Bandho muhi savadhanamati. With careful we need to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense of what you say about association, like we always hear, because someone I'm thinking of, they don't really want to associate. So you have to figure out how to bridge that gap.
When we try to move on our mind's whim, manaso dhavato bahi, then the result will be always annadhantamatayor. We will fall in a ditch.
Chandra, you had something.
I hope.
But
Before Chandrika Mataji, here is a Prabhu Ramna.
I just mention that verse, Bodhaishvara Prashaktanam. If we're attached to material enjoyment, then we can't worship Krishna. We don't have the determination.
And that's what Krishna feels sad. Why? That's why some others say, Krishna, I fail like to convince this living being. They're completely so gross in enjoying natural life. Krishna also sometimes thinks, I fail. I could not. And I cannot take their free will away. I'll never do that. Yes, Prabhu.
I was just wondering if you could tie in, because we were talking about doubt, tie in the correlation between doubt and satisfying the senses.
Doubt?
The doubt.
Oh, doubt. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, doubt. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
I say doubt.
No. My
Okay.
Nepali brain has to process it into English and yeah. Clearing doubt and what was the other word?
Well, just how doubt is correlating with satisfying the senses.
Oh, yes. The doubt, the sense gratification, the enjoyment with Krishna and enjoyment without Krishna is the main thing here. So in order to enjoy with Krishna, we should have full faith in Krishna, that Krishna is the source of all my pleasure, all my needs, all my life, everything. And He is the provider for me. So that strong faith comes from holy name, chanting Hare Krishna, associating with devotees, studying scriptures, and practicing what we hear. But at some time when we have a little small doubt on Him, and then we try to listen our mind or so many things, then we find the enjoyment, sense in something else. So this is going on always, like Dvanda Mohana Bharata, like Sankalpa Vikalpa. I want sometimes nice with Krishna consciousness, sometimes I don't want. So this is all going on. We are because on the platform of mind that's happened. And making your faith, strengthening our faith by the holy name, constant chanting of the name and constantly hearing from the scriptures will enable us to remove those doubts. And then we try to serve the Lord with our sense. Here it takes, what happens is, we do not want to satisfy our senses, but we want to satisfy Lord with our senses. And by doing so, we are really satisfied. At the same time, we will advance as well. Yes.
You're saying about the motivational speaker. Of course, the motivational speaker is conscious and becoming very conscious, but that consciousness becomes depleted because they forget to add Krishna with the consciousness. So just...
There are some good motivational devotees, they do it.
Yeah.
But mostly, even devotees, when they get like big platform, big followers, they forget about talking Krishna and they simply motivate, just like they forget Krishna. They feel like, oh, if I talk Krishna, people don't listen. That's not dedication. That's betrayal to Krishna. Prabhupada never put himself forward, right? All the big gurus, like who came in before Prabhupada in America? The very Vivekananda. The whole world knows Vivekananda, but other than devotees, the whole world do not know Prabhupada. Nobody knows Prabhupada because he never put himself in front. He always put Krishna first. That's the difference. If you go outside the neighborhood, do you know Vivekananda? Oh yeah, I study him in the school, in the college. I know him, Vivekananda. Or Mahatma Gandhi. But do you know Bhaktivedanta Swami? I don't know who is he. Nobody knows it. Why he always put Krishna first.
Everybody knows Krishna.
Yeah. I don't mean that to say that nobody knows Prabhupada, but Prabhupada, the point was Prabhupada never put himself first. He never gave priority to himself. He says Krishna is first. His Guru Maharaj is first. Oh, I was going to say a very important thing about Dadami Buddhi Gamtam. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote a letter to his disciples. When you advance in spiritual life, and same thing Balabhacharya commented on the same verse in Bhagavad Gita. When one advances in spiritual life, and Krishna gave him knowledge that he can see how fallen he is. That is the knowledge devotee gets after practicing devotional service. Not to see that how great I am, but how fallen I am. And when we see our fallen conditions, then we grab Krishna's lotus feet. Yes, it is very important for me to come up by the help of Krishna and his devotees. That is knowledge. Yes, Gurudev. Ananta Prabhu.
You're saying that the ratio was using this important principle of seva and then prasad or something like that. I noticed that Ram Nam Prabhu, he also keeps that principle constantly.
Very, very good. Very good.
He doesn't take prasad until he's finished with his service.
That's very good. Anyway, we are setting example. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, do not be discouraged from discouraging situation. Take advantage of that and learn the lesson that I do not be like that. That is why even within devotees, we think I am bad person or you are good person. But from me also you learn a lesson. Do not go away. Do not discourage, but learn a lesson from bad situation. Prabhupada says best profit from bad bad. That's all it is. Yeah.
But Shishika Prabhu says getting comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Yeah.
because you're growing when you're uncomfortable. It's the same with asana yoga. It's like you're getting comfortable with uncomfortable positions. So
Yeah. See, I utilized this paper. This paper was a male piece, and I wrote about this Krishna's sloka and got it here. So I utilize every situation in Krishna's service. That's how we get rid from. That means you remain always happy. That's the principle. Krishna wants to see that. Your spiritual master wants to see that. Never be discouraged or depressed. There is no reason to be. Even if people still throw flowers back to them, okay? It's hard, but we can do it. Yeah, of course. Jai Sri Hari. Srila Prabhupada ki. I'm sorry if I offended.